Some huge breaking news coming out of Tottenham Hotspur. The transfer news is hotting up just as the January transfer window looks like it is heading for its close. And we've seen some reports in the last 20 hours about Somerville, about Hermansen, about Kinsky. But now, one of our best players at the football club has been a shining light this season despite all of the furore surrounding Thomas Frank and, all that sort of rubbish, is being linked with a move away, and also Spurs have set a price tag for this player. I am going to talk about it today, but it's one of those ones where you sit there and you think, oh, here we go again. Tottenham selling high-profile assets like Harry Kane, Kyle Walker, all that have gone before them. But yeah, as I say, we are going to react to this news, talk about it today. And as always, I want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, in the live chat, which is on the premiere that you're watching right now as well. But before we go any further, as always, if you can support the channel in any way possible by leaving your likes, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, also hype the video. And if you can leave super chats to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. So in the last 24 hours, Micky van de Ven, top centre-back, isn't he, really? I mean, sometimes on his day can be injury-prone, can have a mistake in him, but his pace, his power, his defending, it is pretty strong. But, apart from that, when we've had him and Romero, it's been a solid duo. When Kevin Danzo's had to step in as well, he's been all right. But in the last 24 hours, he's been linked with, moves to Liverpool. Liverpool is the one that is sort of standing out. And you can see why, because Liverpool ideally want a new centre-back. They see, Virgil van Dijk is still going strong. He's like a Rolls Royce. Konate is not been as good as he has in previous seasons. You've got Gomez, who's still filling in here and there. Yeah, the young guy Leone, who's done his ACL. They missed out on Mark Gahey on transfer deadline day back in the summer, and now he's gone to Manchester City. So you can see that they would ideally like a centre-back. He was linked with a move to Manchester City, but maybe with the Gahey deal, that won't happen. I've seen Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid. So he's really been linked to a number of clubs. But that has been in the last 24 hours. But in the last hour or so, there's been some breakthrough about what Spurs are demanding if, they want, if they ideally do sell Micky van de Ven. And it's from the one and only, my fellow colleague at talkSPORT, Alex Crook, who has delivered the details.
What about Micky van de Ven at Tottenham?
Well, this is a player who has become one of the talking horses, not just in the Premier League among elite clubs, but across Europe as well. He's been mentioned in dispatches with the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid. Tottenham are going to make it difficult. I think he's under contract till 2029. I think it's an open secret that he feels like he is ready to move away at the end of the season and try another challenge at one of those elite clubs, either in the Premier League or in Europe. But we're being told at talkSPORT the Spurs would value Van de Ven, and he's only 24, I think I'm right in saying, in the £100 million bracket. That's going to be a lot of money, I think, for one of those clubs to pay for a defender. It might take a record fee for a defender. Liverpool have been credited with an interest. Obviously, they need some cover as centre-back, particularly if Konate doesn't extend his contract that expires at the end of the season. But I'm not sure at that stage they'd be prepared to go quite that high.
I could hear you mumbling something. I was leaning over to Sammy.
My first reaction was to Micky van de Ven when Alex was building up to the potential expectation that Spurs would have. I thought they might be looking for about 80 odd. That might be what they're really looking at. Asking for 100 gets you to 80. And I think, irrespective of not thinking any footballer's worth that kind of money, if you're buying Wesley Fofana for 70 million quid at Chelsea, and everyone knows that Chelsea can be profligate, but Micky van de Ven is a far better player than Wesley Fofana.
Yeah.
And so I think in that world, that becomes an £80 million footballer.
Okay, let's finish on Crysencio Summerville at West Ham, again for how much longer?
Yeah, I think certainly for the foreseeable future, Jim. I know there were stories doing the rounds yesterday that there'd been contact between Tottenham and West Ham with a view to potentially Somerville moving across London. David Sullivan, I think, will rally against that. If you look at West Ham's last two games, Somerville probably has been their best player. He provides that bit of pace that is badly lacking in this West Ham team. He provides that bit of attacking quality. So I don't envisage a situation, bearing in mind that Sullivan is trying to keep Lucas Paquetá from joining Flamengo at all costs, that he would cash in on Somerville. I can see why Tottenham would be interested. I think he is... he's a decent player. He's not a world beater, but he would certainly provide extra options out wide for Thomas Frank, but I think he'll stay.
Alex, keep it going.
Crookie also gave a little bit of an update there on Somerville as well. But yeah, to go over that then, Tottenham value sought after Micky van de Ven in excess of 100 million, talkSPORT understands. Van de Ven is believed to be pushing to leave Spurs next summer to join an elite club in the Premier League or in Europe, but Spurs will not make it easy for the Dutchman, who is under contract until 2029. That's the key thing there. Liverpool are one of the clubs credited with an interest in Van de Ven, but unlikely that they repeat their spending spree from last summer. I mean, Simon Jordan mentioned it there. I think ideally, if we got 80 million for Van de Ven, that would be, a good deal and a good transfer fee to get for him. I think we paid around the £30 million mark, so you're doubling your profit plus a bit more. But we don't really want to sell him. He's one of our best assets. He's also can score a few goals. We've seen, his goals in the Champions League this season, his goals in the Premier League. He is, a very rare entity as a centre-back. Obviously he's quite solid when it comes to his defending, but his recovery pace is what, people see and like. You can see why he's been linked to Liverpool, that Dutch link. Frimpong, Van Dijk, Gakpo, Arne Slot. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it depends on their managerial future as well. But I can see Spurs, the ghost of Daniel Levy lingering. They either want to get the max amount of money for him, or this is to say, back off. Like, you are not getting this player. We value him at this much. We're in the year 2026, 2029, 3 years away. That is a big bit of intent from Spurs to really say, no, this is our player. We dictate. The ball is in our court. If you want him, Liverpool, you have to pay up. And that's the thing, because Liverpool paid so much money out for Isak, Wirtz in the last 12 months or so. They're going to find it hard to really cough up some more cash to go, right, we need to rebuild this and this. And they'll probably have to make a few sales before they can get players in of this calibre. Ideally, Real Madrid, you could see them maybe putting in a cheeky bid. Barcelona could do with a centre-back, but I'm not sure about their financial situation at the moment. Bayern Munich's defence, is pretty stable, but, who's saying no to Micky van de Ven? He's at, the perfect age as well. And as I say, that uniqueness from him and being able to, maraud up and down the pitch is vital. If he has a good World Cup as well for the Netherlands, I know he, usually plays left-back for them, but he's going to put his name, in the top tier. Real Madrid, as I say, have been linked with him. It will become a pretty tricky situation for Tottenham to say, right, especially what we see in at Tottenham at the moment. I know, obviously, we've come off the back of a win against Dortmund, and the Champions League's looking okay, surprisingly, compared to the Premier League. But there's not much incentive for a player to stay. And, you watch his sit-down interview he did with Gary Neville for the overlap, and you can see there was a bit of frustration there. Obviously, he blanked Thomas Frank earlier in the season. There's a lot of frustration from Micky van de Ven, arguing with the fans. So I'm not shocked about his stance, because it's like, anyone could be like that. We're showing our frustration as fans. The players are in the thick of it. Obviously, we could argue that they should be showing a bit more here and there, but it's going to be a tricky one. My prediction is that I think we are definitely going to price him out. I can't see him moving in this year, in this calendar year. Definitely not in January, but I can't see it in the summer either, unless a team is coughing up 80 million plus. And you got to think, I think Simon Jordan said in that clip there, Wesley Fofana went for 70 million. This Jeremy, is it Jeremy Jacquet from Rennes going to Chelsea, that's 70 million euros. So those are less proven. Those were less proven players at the time, and Fofana had his injury record, and Chelsea had been coughing up money for those players. So to me, Micky van de Ven is right to be valued at 80 million plus. I think 100 million is a bit too steep, I will say. We've seen Maguire was expensive. We saw, Van Dijk go for a hefty fee. Gvardiol, they were sort of the similar calibre to Van de Ven at their time, flashing back to then. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you see Micky van de Ven going for that fee as well? I just want to get debating in the comments as we usually do. And as I said in the intro, if you have enjoyed and you want to support the channel in any way possible, because I'm doing a lot of videos at the moment, leave your like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hype the video as well, and leave super chats if you can afford it. But yeah, until next time, I'm planning to do a little video tomorrow, deep dive into maybe, you know, some of our star players, because, you know, we want to be positive at this time of year. But yeah, hope you subscribe and you can see that one tomorrow. But until then, up the Spurs. See you guys pretty soon. Bye.